Leasehold agreements, what are those? So one thing you have to know is, like, you think lease, you think like a big commercial lease or something like that. And that is true. A leasehold agreement in a commercial context is a lease between the landlord and the tenant. It could be a big international company, it could be a food chain, could be a gas station, and they're leasing someone's land and they have a leasehold agreement in those situations. Those leases can be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. There's even a 1,000-year lease out there. Now, what it means is, if it's more than 3 years, they can register that lease agreement on the title to the property, so the landlord can't lease the space to somebody else. It protects them in that situation. But there's also other leasehold situations that we run into on a residential basis. Calgary's a little unique in that there's a number of leasehold situations here that you don't see in other places. It's not absolutely unique because it does exist elsewhere, but we have two in particular. The first is an area called the University District, where you don't own the land that you live in, where your condo is, your house is. It is a leasehold interest, and typically it's a 99-year lease or 85-year lease. There's a certain amount of lease, and you have that right to stay on that property during that time. Your name is registered as a leasehold person and no one can take it away from you. You can even mortgage it. There are certain provisions in there, like you need to have at least the amortization plus 5 years in order to get a lease mortgage for the lease. And there's also, other than University District, which is government land, there's lands on the First Nations where they have leasehold interest. The two we see most here is one that's been around for decades. It's called Redwood Meadows. Those are leasehold interests on the Tsuut'ina Nation. And now there's a new Taza Park where these are also on the First Nation, and it's a leasehold interest. They're starting off, again, 85, 90 years on the leasehold interest. There's no monthly payments for it. It's all prepaid. At some point, those leases expire, and the parties try and act in good faith to do renewals of the leases. They're usually done en masse for the whole community. And again, you are registered on title, but not on the land titles, because the First Nations land have a separate land registry, and that's where you're registered. Again, like the University District, you can get a mortgage for those. In fact, most people do. So if you have questions about it, reach out. There's a lot of misconception about these, and really they're not as scary as people think, but you should know what the situation is so you can make a good choice for you.